Welcome to Jerseys for Social Justice, ETSU Athletics video series highlighting their black student athletes and coaches and their stories of being black in America. Today's guest has a story that stretches far beyond American borders. Originating from Lagos, Nigeria, a man that's been in this country for 7 years now and is at ETSU with the men's basketball team as a graduate transfer from Northern Kentucky, Silas Adheke. Silas, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
What was it like growing up in Nigeria? We're in America here, and I think for a lot of people, Nigeria is a far and distant land. What was it like for you growing up in your home country?
Growing up in Nigeria has been very tough, really strict and disciplinary because, there is no enough basic amenities. There is no, scholarship, for kids to go to school. It's strictly academics. Me coming to the U.S., being able to play basketball and go to school at the same time, that luxury isn't available in Nigeria. But the way I was raised in Nigeria prepared me for the things I am doing right now in the U.S. in terms of discipline and having my priorities to do the things I'm doing today.
So you leave Nigeria in 2013. You're 14 years old. What led you to come to the United States?
I was actually a soccer player at the time, and when my principal back then, when he saw me in the class, he saw I was having a growth spot. So he usually see me and says basketball, and he was like, basketball every time. So I'm like, what is basketball? I've never even heard about this game before. And so I looked it up on Google. I was like, okay, I have to give this sport a chance. But my parents were like, no, just focus on school. So I kept pressuring my dad, and we later traveled to Lagos, and that was when I actually had my first experience with the game of basketball.
You've talked to me off air about Nigeria being a very peaceful and welcoming country. Here on Jerseys for Social Justice, we're talking about social injustice, inequality, and racism in the United States. But you've told me that Nigeria, before you came here, wasn't really a place that thought about racism. It was present much in that culture. Can you tell me about your experiences there with racism, if there were any at all?
My dad actually had an insurance company that he ran in Nigeria, and he had white Americans that worked in his firm as well with him. So every time I go to his office, I was usually excited to see them because, they're good people. That's just all I see. It's people, I was just fascinated, like, oh, these people look different from us, so I would like to learn about them, and that's the way it is back then. When we see white people, we're like excited. It's like, wow, we don't see too often of this, because we watch movies and see stuff, so we usually embrace people, and they love us too. They love our culture, they love our food, but when I came to the U.S., it wasn't the same transponding. With the way things were going here, I learned about American history. It was kind of like weird, but I still stayed true to myself because that's the way I was raised, and that's the kind of culture I was developing, to love everybody equally.
You make a very interesting point about white people in Nigeria, because the amount of white people in Nigeria as a proportion of the whole population is roughly the same as the number of Nigerian Americans in this country, and there was no racism against white people there, but I know that you've experienced some racism since you've been here in America.
Yes, in some of my previous institutions, I've experienced racism from students, some drunk or some in like a group of people who did not welcome me and my teammates. Then majority were like African American on the team, but we're not welcome. Whenever we show up to these events, we're being kicked out. So that was one of the reasons why I left that institution, but still staying true to myself, because I believe, no matter what skin color you have, because it's all skin pigment at the end of the day, melanin, I have more melanin than some people, and there's some black people that are lighter than me. It doesn't make them less black, we're still human. And I believe there's one race, it's like the human race. At the end of the day, we're Homo sapiens. That's our genus and species, scientifically. And we are all made in God's image for the religious ones. We are one human. I have 2 eyes, 4 limbs in total. I have blood, So everyone is human at the end of the day, regardless of your skin color, your cultural background, and what ethnicity or whatever you believe in.
You talked to me before we went on air here today about American history and that you didn't know it in Nigeria. Of course, you knew your Nigerian history. You come here and you learn about American history. Did you read about slavery and racism, and what were your thoughts and feelings when you did see those topics discussed, and knowing that that was a dark part of this country's history?
Yeah, when I've seen videos in my history class, I've learned about the American history, even how the British came and fought the Native Americans, the Trail of Tears, and, bringing African Americans in slave ships and the human market where they sell people. It was very sad. I was very emotional, and knowing people went through that part of their journey, and like some group of people fought for their freedom to get us to where we are today. But currently where we are is we're trying to move forward, and the reason why I think we learn those history is not to repeat itself, and not for the purpose of holding grudge, because what has been done, but we're trying to set up equality, where everyone feels comfortable and everyone has rights to freedom of speech, to freedom to do what they are allowed to do legally. So the American history taught me the darkness of America, but today there's been some improvement, but we're not where we want to be yet. And it can be done, but it's gonna take individual, being the change you want to see in the world. So it starts from individuals and the kind of information parents feed their kids or their peers, and the kind of group they associate with. Just standing out as the light, out of the darkness, and being the positive light out of all the negatives.
I love your attitude on this. We're not a black race, white race, we're a human race. And you've experienced racism in this country, and to me, as someone that comes from a place of privilege and has not had to deal with those things, it seems like an incredibly noble thing to be able to keep that positive attitude when you have experienced the exact things that we're talking about on this video series. How have you been able to do that and put your experiences aside while being able to talk about this issue so calm and composed?
Before I left Nigeria, my father told me, always remember the son of who you are, and always represent the family name positively. My cultural and family value is to treat others how you want to be treated. So the way I've been able to handle the racism going on right now, regardless of what risk I might be in, the things I can control is what I can focus on. What can I focus on and control? Treating others right, respecting people's background, respect their values, their culture. No one is better than anybody else. We all have things going on in our life. Every individual is important. We all matter. We all powerful beyond measure. So if I want to be treated right, I have to treat others right first. And so you treat people right, you get treated right. That's the way I handle the situation.
Your perspective is so important to this series, being someone that is not originally from the United States but has been adopted into this culture and has lived here for almost a decade now. We've had people that are from this region in this country, in the South, further south than this, the middle of Georgia, Tennessee, one person that's been from above the Mason-Dixon line up in Illinois. But your perspective is so unique, and you've been able to provide such a genuine and heartfelt message to people. For being here today, Silas, and for being here at ETSU, I know we're incredibly excited to have you. It's been great to have you here on this series. Wish you the best, not only on the basketball court, but in your year here at ETSU. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.